Let's continue with problem number 5. On problem number 5, it says find the sum of the first 5 terms of the following geometric series. So we're looking still for the sum, but in this case it's the geometric series. So it's going to be S of n, because we're looking for the sum. Do you remember your formula? Try to write down without looking at your notes, and then you can correct it if you make a mistake. There'll be A sub 1 is a geometric, so it's the one with an R. 1 minus R, 1 minus R, and that'll be to the n power. Let's go and plug in the information that they give us. This is actually a little easier than number 4. The sum of how many terms do we need to add up? 5. And I know some of you guys are going to say, you know what, can I just add up those 1, 2, 3, 4, those 5 terms? Sure, you'll get the correct answer, but you're not going to be able to get any points because I need you guys to be able to use the formula. A sub 1, that is the first term is 3. 1 minus R, R, I need to be able to find the ratio. 1 minus R, I need to find the ratio, so let's go and find the ratio. The ratio, remember, is the second number, or the second term divided by the first term, which is 2. So the ratio is 2, and don't forget that the top ratio has to be raised to the exponent of n. N in this case is how many terms we need to add? That is 5. From here we just simplify. The sum of the first 5 terms will be 3, 1. 2 to the 5th power is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which is 32. 1 minus negative 2 is negative 1. Sum of the first 5 terms will be 3. That gives me negative 32 divided by negative 31. 1 minus 32 is negative 31 divided by negative 1. So it gives me 3. Negative and negative is a positive. 31 divided by 1 is 31. So that'll give me 63. 93. Now some of you guys will say, if I add those numbers above, the 3 plus the 6 plus the 12 plus the 24 plus the 48, that is 93, which is correct. But you need to show me this process. Problem number 6 is a very easy problem. Write down the first 4 terms. They give you the equation. So I just need to be able to find A sub 1, A sub 2, A sub 3, A sub 4. To find the first term, because they give you the equation, you just plug in a 1. To find the second term, you plug in a 2. To find the third term, you plug in a 3. To plug in the fourth term, you plug in a 4. So I'll give me 4 times 1 is 4, plus 4 will give me 8. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 4 will give me 12. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 4 will give me 16. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 4 is 20. So first term is 8, then 12, then 16, and then 20. Those will be the first 4 terms. Problem number 7. Write the nth row for the nth term of the geometric sequence. We're looking for the nth term of the geometric sequence. We know that A sub 4 is negative 24. That means the fourth term is negative 24, and they give me that the ratio is negative 2. So I need to be able to utilize that information to find the n term. Remember, when they're asking for the n term, they're asking for the equation. So we're using the A sub n. It's geometric, so it's the one with an R. A sub 1, R, n minus 1. And I just need to plug in the information that they gave me. A sub n is equal to, remember, I need to plug in the A sub 1, which they're not given to me, and the R. So I don't know what a sub 1 is. I need to look for it. R is negative 2 and minus 1. So the only thing that I need to do is to be able to find a sub 1, which is the first term, and I'm going to use the same equation. A sub n is equal to a sub 1 r and minus 1. I'm not going to plug in the information. I'll plug in my r. That's the only thing that they gave me. That is negative 2 and minus 1. Now, I can't solve for a sub 1 unless I plug in the other variables. So I'm going to use the information that they give me. Negative 24 will be the term number, the term, which is negative 24. And the corresponding term number, the value of n, is 4. So it'll be 4 minus 1. Negative 24 is equal to, simplify this, negative 2, 4 minus 1 is 3. Negative 2 to the third power is negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. So negative 24 is equal to a sub 1, negative 8. Negative 2 times negative 2 is 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. Now remember that these sums are multiplying. So in order to leave a sub 1 by itself, in order to isolate it, I need to be able to divide by negative 8 on both sides. So a sub 1 is equal to 3. And now I can just plug it in. A sub n is equal to 3 multiplied by negative 2 to the power of n minus 1. And that's all we needed. Remember, the only reason that we have to go through this is because we didn't know what a sub 1 is. We didn't know what the first term is. We knew what the fourth term was, negative 4. And we knew what the ratio, so we use that information to find the first term. And be careful, if it's multiplying, you need to divide. Problem number 8. Find the rule for the n term. So we're looking for the equation of an arithmetic sequence. Okay, so the a sub n, you have it memorized. A sub n is equal to, is the one with the difference, a sub 1 plus n minus 1 multiplied by the difference. So let's go and plug in the information that they give us. A sub n is equal to, a sub 1 is the first term, so in this case will be 8, plus n minus 1 multiplied by the difference. The difference, you're going to take the second number minus the first number, which is equal to 5. Notice that it's increasing, so that'll be positive 5. And now, because they give us all the information, remember the only thing that I needed to plug in was a sub 1 and d. Since they give me all the information, then I can just simplify. A sub n is equal to 8 plus 5 times n will be 5n. 5 times negative 5 is negative 5n. Combine my like terms. So a sub n is equal to 5n plus 3. And that's it. That's all I needed to do. They gave me all the information that I needed, so that was a simple problem. It becomes more complex when you need to be able to look for information that you need. Now let's continue with problem number 9. On problem number 9, it says find a sub 7. They're looking for the 7th term. So we're looking for the 7th number. They tell you that a sub 1 is 18 and the ratio is 1/2. Now if you're looking for the a sub 1 with a sub 7 of a geometric, I need to be able to look for the equation so I can just plug in a 7 and find the number. So let's go and look for the equation. So a sub n is equal to, do you remember your formula? Geometric has to have an r. A sub 1 r n minus 1. I need to plug in a sub 1 and r. And once I find that, then I can plug in a 7. So a sub n is equal to, a sub 1 is given to you, which is great. That's 18. R is also given to you, which is 1/2. And minus 1. Now that we have that, I can go ahead and find a sub 7. Once you have your equation, you can find any term on the sequence. I'm looking for the 7th term. So a sub 7 is equal to 18 1/2. Instead of the n, I'll replace it with a 7 minus 1. So a sub 7 is equal to 18 1/2 to the 7 minus 1 is 6. So 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2. So a sub 7 is equal to 18. If you multiply 1/2 6 times, it will give you 1/64. From here, I can just simplify. A sub 7 is equal to 18/64. Reduce it by 2, so it gives me 9/32. So the 7th number will be 9/32. That'll be your answer. Now, some of you guys might say, Mr. Diaz, if I know that the first term is 18, and I know that the ratio is 1/2. So in order for me to find the second term, can I just do 18 and then multiply by 1/2? That gives me 18/2. That'll be the second term. Then to find the third term, I multiply by 1/2 again. That gives me 18/4. And that'll be the third term. And then to find the next term, I do multiply by 1/2. So it'll be 18/8. That'll be the third term. And continue on and just find the 7th term. Sure, you'll get the same answer. But if it's the multiple choice, you can do it that way. If it's the open response, I need to be able to see the formula. Problem number 10.